5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Let us begin this orientation with our proper mindset, proper focus, and with the right attitude. My respect to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Edilberto.
One day I'll see men of all colors sharing words of love and devotion. Yes, I
Please be seated. To welcome us all in this orientation for the implementation of the 2019 School-Based Feeding Program Milk Feeding Component, here is our Division Research Coordinator, the Senior Education Program Specialist. Let's all welcome Sir Bridget Emeline Abalorio.
Thank you so much, Sir Joe. My respect to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Edilberto L. of Linaya CESO 5, to our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Rosemary Tima Cesar, to our SGOD, Chief Education Supervisor, Dr. Maria Carmela T. Ablin, and to the OIC Chief of the Curriculum Implementation Division, Dr. Mary Arlene Carbonera, and to all the section heads of this division, to our guests, our visitors for this afternoon who will be introduced formally later on, to all the participants, our school administrators, for this orientation, my greetings of peace and solidarity to all of us. Maayong hapon or maayong udto sa atong tanan. Concentrate kaayo sila. I don't know kung nag-concentrate sila sa guidelines for school-based feeding program or they are really in their guidelines now so that they can follow the orientation proper later on. Maayong udto ka natong tanan. No? Ako biya kay nakulbaan po ko kay I was informed 5 or 10 minutes ago that I will be the one to welcome all of you. No? So 3 weeks ago, during the hearing of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, Deputy Undersecretary Nipomucino Malaluan said that in the Department of Education, a school feeding program will continue even under a new learning system as the country continues to grapple with the coronavirus pandemic. No? In our division of Lanao del Norte, we always acknowledge the importance of feeding program in the attainment of our goal, and that is to produce a globally competitive learners who can compete not only in our country but in our country but in the world. No? And researchers in the field of researchers, we already have researchers in our division, researchers in other regions, even in other countries that prove that there is really a significant relationship between the nutritional status of our learners and their academic achievement. No? With that, we are very fortunate to have this orientation for the implementation of our school-based feeding program with milk feeding component. We are very fortunate because with all the important aspects that our government is facing right now, they always acknowledge the importance of nutritional status of our learners as they will now attain their objectives in the different objectives in the classroom. So with this orientation, I hope that we can get insights and information on how we can successfully implement the program here in the division of Lanao del Norte. We have different topics, discussions later on how the milk supply and the delivery processes, the health and safety protocols on how to implement this program in our respective schools. I hope that everyone will pay attention, everyone will participate, and we always encourage everyone to raise your questions so that we can address that problems, we can address that issue prior to the implementation of the program. So in behalf of our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Edilberto L. of Linaya CESO 5, I'm very glad and I'm honored to welcome everyone for this orientation for our school-based feeding program implementation. Thank you and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, Sir Bridget Emeline Abalorio, our Division Research Coordinator, Senior Education Program Specialist. With us, ladies and gentlemen, today are our honored guests from Region 9. I would like to introduce to you the Center Director of the Philippine Carabao Center, Region 9. Let's all welcome Dr. Cecilio G. Velez. Please be acknowledged, sir. Let's also meet our SSRS Milk Feeding Regional Focal Person, SEBED Coordinator of Region 9, Ma'am Fe Imelda C. Academia. And also with us is the Community Development Officer, Ma'am Josephine S. Mendoza. She's at the back. Okay, before we proceed to our orientation proper, I'd like to call the roll of participants this afternoon. If I'm gonna call your school or your district, please be acknowledged by raising your hand or waving your hand, okay? Malinaw Central Elementary School, Ma'am Edna is there. Good afternoon, ma'am. Abaga Central Elementary School, Ma'am Josephine is here. Balili Central, we have our coordinator, ma'am. Baroy Central, coordinator, ma'am, no? Magsaysay Central, yes, ma'am, Marietta. SNDMIS, we have Ma'am Rona right here. And then 62 Maghanoy, Senior, Sir Ray. Lanipao Central School, Sir Roldan is there. Good afternoon, sir. Salvador Central. Nandito si Ma'am. Tubod Central, Ma'am Ami is here. Ma'am Ami Bagol. Kapatagan East Central, Ma'am Grace is here also. Maranding Central, Ma'am Mary Grace Yap is also here. And then NCES. And SND, Ma'am Indira Sadmis. Yes, Ma'am Indira is here. Okay, so we also have our nurses, district nurses and division nurses in attendance. So I guess we're all set for our orientation proper. Ladies and gentlemen, to orient us or give us an overview of the 2019 SBFP milk component feeding, here is our division SBFP focal person, our nurse 2, Catherine Gay A. Putis.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am tasked to give an overview regarding the 2019 SBFP or the School-Based Feeding Program Milk Feeding Component Program. Okay, so as per DEP and Order number 36, series of 2019, titled Guidelines on the Implementation of SBFP Milk Feeding Program Component for school year 2019 and 2020, fresh milk or sterilized milk shall be provided to all undernourished kindergarten to grade 6 who are also SBFC beneficiaries for hot meals for at least 20 feeding days. Okay, so kani siya actually, mo ni siya i-partner sa kanang katulad hot meals na to during 2019. Partner ang to siya. But then, kanang kabawan ta nga na-pandemic, so naapektuhan sa di siya. Ang amendment per DEP and Order number 22, series of 2019, released last September 7, 2020. According to that DEP and Order, 2019 SBFP milk component beneficiaries will still be the same learners identified to the recipient for SBFP hot meals for school year 2019 to 2020 and all kindergarten learners except those who were in grade 6 during the 2019 that were promoted to grade 7 at the current year. So, katong bali ang atong beneficiary sa milk for 2019 is ang kinder during sa 2019 to grade 5. Nganong walay labot ang grade 6? Kahit in grade 7 naman sila. So, for example, let's kanang have a name of a school ha, Malinaw Central Elementary School for example. 10 ka grade 6 nga undernourished ning graduate. Huli pa nato siya og presently enrolled nga kinder. Kay ang kinder last year, grade 1 man karon. Okay. Alright, so as per DO 36 series of 2019, fresh milk refers to the normal mammary secretion of one or more healthy dairy animals like cows, buffaloes, carabaos, or goats of local dairy farmers or farms that is free from colostrum without adding or extracting anything to or from it, has undergone heat processing and intended for consumption as liquid milk or for further processing. Alright, so we have identified 15 drop-off points. Kaya nga atong sabot with the PCC or the Philippine Carabao Center, kanang mag-identify ta og drop-off points balik central school sa coastal nga municipalities. So, kani siya, nakuha na mo ni siya nga data, nag-collaborate po din sa ato ang mga district nurses kung ahay pinakadool ninyo. So, for Linamon Central Elementary School, they will be catering Linamon District, Baloi East District, Baloi West, Matunggaw, Pantaw Ragat, Pantar, and Tagulwan. For Kauswagan Central Elementary School, they will be catering Kauswagan, Munay, and Puna Piagapo. For Bacolod Central Elementary School, Bacolod Laham District now, they will only have Tugod East District. And then Baroy Central Elementary School, Baroy. Abaga Central Elementary School for Lala South District. Lanipao Central Elementary School for Lala North. Maranting Central Elementary School for Lala Central and Salvador. Balili Central Elementary School for Kapatagan East. Sixto Maghanoy Central School for Kapatagan West. Kex or Kapatagan East Central School for Kapatagan Central, Sapad, and Nunungan District. And lastly, SND MIS for SND East.
Your device is now connected.
SND East, West, and SND Central. Thank you so much, and later, natay, pwede mo mag-ask of questions kay. Napoy ko ang silang mambo. Open forum later.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Catherine Gay A. Putis. And now we will be oriented with the fresh milk supply and how also the delivery processes. This will be presented by our Regional Seabed Coordinator, Philippine Carabao Center of Region 9. Let's all welcome Ma'am Fe Imelda C. Academia.
Okay, so good day everyone. So greetings from the Philippine Carabao Center. No, so Philippine Carabao Center is also a government agency, a such agency of Department of Agriculture, your partner agency, and collaborating with you for the successful implementation of the school-based feeding program, milk component under RA 11037. So, niya karon aron among ihatag kaninyo ang informasyon kabahin sa gatas ug ang insaktong pagdumala niini. So, ang importance of this orientation, so we know that milk and milk products had made significant contribution to our nutrition. Milk provides essential nutrients and is an important source of dietary energy, high-quality proteins, and fats. However, milk can be a vehicle for the transmission of pathogens and will cause disorder if not properly handled. That's why it is indispensable to provide to you this information or to the concerned individuals on the proper milk handling from drop-off to individual schools and to the school learners. So ang gatas na supply sa milk feeding program, isa ka pasteurized fish milk, nagikan sa dairy buffalo, nakapak sa 200 ml nga pakete. Gikan sa atong mga local farmers ang production. Ang mga cooperatives, ang mga gikuhaan nato ani nga source, no? So mao ga process ani nga product. Then ang proseso nagasubay sa protocols, no? Dunay tay mga laboratory testing, so miagi ta og mga analysis, dunay tay certificate of analysis sa iyang microbial, then sa nutrients content ani nga milk. So atong ikumpara ang sustansya nga makuha sa gatas. No, ganina na-mention na ni Ma'am Kat nga ang nagahatag og milk para sa human consumption nga mga animals, so carabao's milk, so like cow's milk and goat's milk. So mao na ang mga nutrients kung atong i-compare ang nutrients nga mai-provide sa mga kasagaran nga mga hayop nga nagahatag sa atoa og milk. So ang preskong gatas dali ra madaot kung dili insakto ang pagdumala niini. So ang mga mosunod nga mga slides mao ang talamdan para malikayan ang pagkadaot sa gatas. So mao nino ang mga talamdan para ang gatas malikayan nga dili kini dali madaot. So sa pagbiyahe sa gatas, gikan sa planta, padulong sa drop-off, dapat ma-maintain ang kabugnaw niini hangtod maabot kini sa mga bata o school learners. Ang mga pouches or nakapakiti nga gatas, nakabutang kini sa coolers or sa styro boxes sa panahon sa pagpanghatod sa mga drop-off area. Kung dili frozen ang mga nakapakiti nga gatas, kinahanglan butangan og ice ang mga sudlanan para ma-maintain ang kabugnawon niini aron dili kini madaot samtang naa sa biyahe. So, ang buluhaton pag-abot sa delivery. So, inspeksyonon o susihon ang kalidad sa gatas. So, apil po na susihon ang sudlanan. So, taon kung ang styro boxes limpyo ba, dayon dili guba, o dili po baho, inig-abri nimo sa styro, sa sudlanan. Susihon dayon ang temperature or ang kondisyon sa gatas. Kung kini naka-frozen ba o kaha bugnaw pag gyud kaayo, no, kanang bugnaw sa ice muna dapat iyang temperature. Magsugod na dayon ta sa gitawag nato og sensory evaluation, no, kay kanira gyud ang atong pinaka-immediate nga mabuhat. Kay kung maglaboratory pa, inhik-receive ninyo sa gatas, kasi wala na tayo time, no? So ang ato lang yung pinaka-gamiton pag-evaluate kaning sensory evaluation. Unsa man ang sensory evaluation? Siyempre, paggamit sa ato ang mga senses, no? So una, paggamit sa ato ang ilong. So ato ang simhoton. Kay siyempre, sa inyong drop-off, doon na mga sample nga abrihan sa ato ang inspection team, no? So sabutan na ninyo sa inyong division focal kung kinsa ang authorized nga inspection team nga maoy mo receive sa gatas dito sa drop-off. Na representative per district, no, per district. Napoy sample, of course, pag-deliver, kaya aron maoy gamitan sa sensory evaluation, no? So, baho, simhuton, kung bahong aslong, so, di na siya maayo, no? Dayon, color. Ang color sa gatas, syempre, puti, no? Puti siya. Dayon, dapat, kung matunaw na ni siya, no? Matunaw man ni siya, kay syempre, pag dawat ninyo ani, matong nasa sensory evaluation, dapat manang tunaw siya. So, dapat, wala siya kanang mga bukol-bukol nga kanang murag mo takot diri ba, abrihan man po ninyo, abrihan sa inspection team. Pag mo dapat gusto ka ba flawless ba, no? Walay murag mga mga tik-tik kanang magdahol-dahol, no? O wala. Dayon, syempre inyo pong tilawan. Pero di po nila kulak diretso. Tilawan sa pong ginagmay, no? Kung lami gyud na, no? Pero karon makatilaw gyud pud mo ani, no? Kaya na may mga samples nga ipanghatag. Dili dawaton or i-reject ang gatas kung naay makita nga timailhan nga dili na maayo, no? So dili lugson pag sa inspection team, pag inspect nga dili na siya maayo, i-reject na siya, no? Reject. Dayon ang gatas kung naay damage sa iyang sudlanan, example, kung kani naka-frozen, dili pa man kainin ninyo ni mahibalan. At least kani ang yang temperature ani, napa siya ice, no? Okay ni siya. Pero kanang tunaw nagyud kaayo, mo nagbutangan natong ice ang mga box ha. So dito sa inyong school, kung sa drop off naka-frozen man dili man yung mahibalan nga nagbuslot kay frozen man. No, pag pick up sa school, ato na sa ilahang eskwelahan mismo, dayon moabot na sa makita nila nga nangabuslot-buslot, i-report lang atong ilisdan ang mga damage. So mao ni ang buluhaton, humanano na-inspect na, so good na. Walay aslong nga baho, ang yang color okay ra, dayon pagtilaw pod lami, so inyo nang gi-receive. So receive na, ibalhin dayon ang gatas sa freezer or sa styro boxes nga adunay ice, no? Sa pagdawat sa delivery. Naay ice kung katong akong gingon kanina nga liquid na kaayo. Pero kung naka-frozen pa, pwede ra walay ice, labi nagduol ra ang biyahian. Pero kung medyo naka-liquid na, then ang biyahian medyo layo-layo, so dapat naagyoy ice kay para ma-maintain na to ang temperature nga kanang ice ang kabugnawon. No? I-check nga functional ang freezer. Ayun, kay doon na may mga freezer nga wala gi pa andar, no? Dayon pagkaon butangan dayon nato sa kaning mga ingon ani, then unya na paandaron. Posible nga dugay siya mo kuan ang iyang kabugnawon. So kung mudawat ta, paandaron na to dan ang freezer mga 2 hours, so usa pa na to butangan, no? Dayon ang gatas kung mahimo dili na to isagol sa mga ganang gisagulan bag isda kanang mga sudlanan bitaw kay panalitan inyong box, nagdala mo box gikan sa inyuha, dadalon dito sa drop off nya kay hapit pag pamalit og isda, no? So at least okasyon na lang, no? So dili na to kuno kay dali na siya mo absorb og baho, no? So manimaho ng isda ang atong packaging, atong pakite. Or kung napo tay gipalit nga maka-absorb, matakdan siya sa baho ba, example ay mga pait unsa baron diha, no? Basin pag kit-kit ani sa balay pag abot sa bata niya, pait ang iyahang mapilawan, so ang gatas pod mo ay maapektuhan, no? So di nato isagol sa mga ato ang mga pamaliton nga maka-absorb siya og baho. So ang frozen nga gatas kani nakapakite, pack sa ingon ani, frozen, mudural ni siya og 3 days nga bisa na sa styro boxes, no? 3 days nga na-frozen ni siya, pero ang styro boxes nakasarado og maayo, nakabutang og packing tape, dili sige hag-abre, bisan 3 days dili ni siya malusaw kaayo ba, matunaw kaayo. Pero dili po ta magkumpiyansa, no? Kay wa ta kabalo na koy leaking atong mga boxes ninyo. Labi na naigo sa pagkarga-karga sa mga habal-habal o sa baka diha. So, i-check po nato, mga 2 days i-check. Kung medyo ingon ani na, liquid na, ice na lang yun, no? So, sure, tangan yun na itong ice para ma-maintain ang kabugnawon. So, paghatag na sa gatas, ngadto sa atong mga bata, no? Muni atong i-advise sa mga parents nga magpainom, no, sa gatas. Dili idiretso og hatag nga kanang frozen pa, no? Medyo ipa-liquefy sa siya. Kay naay mga bata nga sensitive kaayo ang mga tiyan, so basig bugnaw kaayo na mao'y mahinungdan nga magdaot ang iyahang tiyan. So 200 ml ang pakiti. So ingon ani kadaghan na ang iyang imno no kada adlaw, kada adlaw. So kani siya pwedeng ipainom diretso nga nakapack lang or pwede pod nga i-transfer sa baso. Kung dunay mamatikdan, ay inyong i-advise sa inyong parents nga magkuha sa gatas nga mag-sensory evaluation gyud sa pagpainom sa gatas no before ipainom. So kung dunay mamatikdan nga dunay kalahian na sa lami sa gatas, dili na ihatag dito sa bata. So ang milk, ang allergen information, so ang gatas siyempre contains milk. So naay mga allergy sa milk in terms of kanang lactose intolerance, no? Naay mga bata nga dili makasugakod maginom og milk. Kay basin ug wa pud toy inom-inom og milk, no? So nabag-uhan. So naamantay nakabalan ako na siguro tay parents consent, no? Bahin ani dayon sa mga bata nga dili kaayo hinginom og milk, pwede siguro i-advise ko sa parents nga gamay-gamay lang sa dili diretso nga ipainom ang isa ka pakete. So naay normal reaction katong dili sige inom og milk labi na kani mga fresh milk kanang ang stomach magtingog-tingog, no, kanang daguok ba, pero normal lang na siya. Kay kami sa PCC hapit na lang mi mututoy diretso sa kabaw, no? So lami kayo murag nami gutmon. Ang mahitabo lang magtingog-tingog among tiyan, pero wala naman pod, wala naman pod mimudagan sa CR, magtingog lang. So mao ni ang mga sudlanan ngatong andamono, no? So kabalo naman mo pila kadaghan na inyong beneficiary, no? So ang sabot nga per drop off ang pag-deliver sa ato ang supplier sa gatas. Then part pod ani ang pag-deliver is dili kada adlaw. So ang delivery is twice a week. So kung example nasabutan nga Monday, then ang next na delivery is Wednesday, meaning sa Monday, tulo ka adlaw ang i-deliver. So kung kabalot ta sa listahan sa ato ang mga school learners nga inyong buhaon ang inyong supply, so kabalo mo unsa kadak ang box ang inyong hang dalhon. Kay kung Lunes times 3 man. So kung Wednesday times 2. Pero kani siya nagadepende na dayon ni sa sabot ninyo kung unsa inyong preference. Kay samo ang naagian na dito sa Region 9, kay Region 9 man among coverage, special lang ning Lanao del Norte nga gi-cater namo kay taga-tubod man ko, bitaw. No? So since nga taga Lanao ko, so naningkamot mi with the support of my center director nga ma-cater namo ang problem sa Lanao del Norte in terms of milk supply. No? So dito sa Region 9, usually unang sabot twice a week ang delivery. Pero naamang ko school nga bukid bitaw kay sila dayon ilang atuon sa school tagtulo ra ka buok, tag 5 ra. So nag-off sila 1 week, no? So kung kaya sa supply, so example, Tuesday. So murag bahin-bahinon ba? Kani nga district, Monday sila nga kani nga cluster pero whole week. Kani po diri nga district, kini po na cluster, Tuesday sila pero whole week pod. No? So depende na napuhon sa inyo na dayong sabot kung maka-deliver na ta. Kay makitaan man nato ang trending na dayon ana, no. So mo na mga capacity sa boxes, no? Dayon pag-abot sa delivery dapat ready na itong mga boxes kay danon man pagbalik sa supplier ang ilahang sudlanan, no? So ibalhin ra man na sa inyong mga boxes nga naandam. Pero later kung namoy question, so bago na lang nako pod kay muli naman pod mi human ani kay muli pa mi sa dapat sa Zamboanga, no? So naay i-provide na box sila, no? So basin mo po na yung question ba unya, no? Kaya ako may nag-mention og boxes. So naa sila yung mga provisions unya nga basin inyong mga questions diaron matubag nila unya, no? Sa ilahang mga kuan kanang presentation sa tuang finance office. So twice ang atong delivery, dayon atong drop off is nasabot na. So mo na yung pahinumdum, no? Ang maalindot sa kalidad sa gatas, ma-maintainer nato kung insakto ug luwas ang pagdumala niini gikan sa planta hangtod sa moinom. So ang keyword lang gyud, do not break the cold chain, no? Dili gyud ingon na peligro kaayo siya. As long nga dili lang nato hayaan nga mainit siya, mainitan ba? Kay fresh milk man siya. So example, ang inyong parents magkuha sa gatas, nagid mo'y briefing nga mother, ayaw sa kapit sa kumprahan or ayaw sa ugad sa daruhan. So ang imong gatas nga gisulod nimo sa plastic, dari-diretso lang sa uli. Kay aron mabutang ba ninyo sa inyong ref or mapainom ba ka diretso, no? So alang sa dugang nga detalye na aming mga gipanghatag nga mga flyers, so refer lang. Dinapod mo yung mga ubang question ana siguro, mga later na, pwede nyo i-throw kay ma'am, then niya po ipaabot sa ako no? So, kato lang siguro, then after ani, wag mamuli na me, kay wag layo-layo pa among biyahe. So, base na mo'y question on niya, kasi kaya na po tubagon ni ma'am, no? So, kato lang, daghan kayong salamat, ug see you puhon.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so we'll have some samples coming from the Philippine Carabao Center. We have some reactions actually. Yes, ma'am. May we ask the assistance from our nurses for the samples? We have some reactions actually this morning. Why Carabao milk daw? We might not have been drinking Carabao milk, but according to the studies of Philippine Carabao Center, it's lower in cholesterol and higher in calcium content and also energy. Actually, we have been drinking a lot of Carabao milk already because we're eating ice cream, pastillas de leche, quesong puti. Actually, one of the ice cream producers in the country, Selecta, is using Carabao milk. So, wag matakot. Okay, we would like to thank Philippine Carabao Center for giving us some samples of our milk products. Thank you so much. Ma'am Ching, may we have the certificate because they're going early? Do you have some questions before our speakers will go home? Wala na? Klaro daw kayo, ma'am. Ma-answeran na nilang ma'am Inday o nilang Sir Tor. So all the funds and guidelines will be answered later. Okay, so may I request our SGOD chief to give the certificate of recognition to Dr. Cecilio G. Velez, the Center Director of the Philippine Carabao Center, Region 9. Signed, Sir Edilberto L. Oplinaria, CESO 5, Schools Division Superintendent. Chief. Picture, please. Again, we would like to thank Dr. Cecilio G. Velez, Ma'am Fe Imelda Academia, and Ma'am Josephine Mendoza of the Philippine Carabao Center for coming and sharing your expertise with us today. How about another round of applause for our guests from Region 9, please? Thank you. Have a safe trip po. Okay, let's now proceed to the next part of our orientation, and that is the presentation from our head of the budget section. the 2019 SBFP Milk Component Funds Update and Management. Let's all welcome Emily S. Padayhag, AO5.
Hello, magandang hapon, magandang buhay, and wake up. Wake up. Are we done drinking the herbal milk? So I am tasked this afternoon to discuss to you the fund availment and management of milk feeding program 2019. The DepEd received under the SCFP an allotment of 1 billion pesos through the FY 2019 GAA for the milk feeding program, and which shall be downloaded to the SDO. So, what we are implementing now is the milk feeding program 2019. Maybe you are wondering why it's too late. So, late na ng 2020, but still we are implementing the 2019 milk feeding program. First is that DepEd Central Office prepare and release sub-arrow to SDO through the budget division. So, we received the sub-arrow, this one, from Murag busy pa kayo. Yan na pumuguan.
Okay, go. Go naman, Ems.
Murag napasa, business sa likod.
Oh, all fine. Number 1, kabuhi.
Are we done now, sir? So are we ready to lesson again?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the sub-release order that we received from the central office, dated October 11, 2019. So October 2019, later part na ng 2019. And then, the next step of the fund availment is that SDO shall request NCA notice of cash allocation from their respective regional DBM soonest time possible upon receipt of the sub-arrow. This part, unfortunately, we were not able to follow that one, the soonest possible time that we are going to request the fund. Why? The reason is that this sub-allot us the budget for the milk feeding program for our division, but unfortunately, they were not able to release the guidelines, implementing guidelines for the milk feeding program. So, paano natin magagamit yung pera kung wala tayong implementing guidelines? And also, also for the part of the budget division, we don't have assurance as of ma-implement ba talaga siya sa 2019. So that is why we were not able to follow that one to request the NCA soonest time possible. Imagine the guidelines, implementing guidelines of the milk feeding program was issued last December 2019. Next, please.
Next.
So after that, SDO through the SBFP focal person in coordination with the SGOD chief, SDS, ESDS, TWG shall prepare pertinent project documents such as PPMP, APP, PR, and project proposal. So all of these documents were already done, no? Pero this to 2020 pa lang. Kasi yun nga, hindi, late yung ano nila. And one reason also why na delayed yung ano natin, it's because that central office is also delayed in providing us the MOA. So dapat kasi ang central office is mag-formulate sila doon ng MOA para yan yung division office will also craft the MOA from the central office. But sadly, they were not able to give us the MOA the soonest. So, next please. Ay, ito pa din. And then, after that, agency-to-agency procurement mode will be used. So, unlike sa school-based feeding program natin mga previous years, that kayo yung nag-procure, di ba? So, kayo yung nag-busy sa procurement, by lot, so ang daming gagawin. But as sa milk feeding program, hindi na kayo gagawa kasi yung division office na yung magano ng procurement. Now, it is agency to agency. Kaya parang ano na lang kayo lax. Pera kayo. The SDO, in accordance with the provision of the framework and operating MOA, transferred in favor to the PCC. So sa case natin is the Philippine Carabao Regional Center. The funds to cover the purchase of the meals that were committed to be delivered by the latter and shall be particularly for earmarked for supply and delivery of milk and administration fee as indicated in the MOA. So, hindi na kayo maproblema kasi i-deliver siya doon sa selected drop-off point, no? So, the MOA pala is already was made last September 23rd this year. So, mayroon na tayong MOA, no? At saka it's already signed by the part of the division office and kanina na-sign na din sa part ng taga-PCC. Next please. So, pag nag-implement na, nag-deliver na yung mga ng milk yung PCC then shall submit a monthly liquidation reports to SDO. So hindi na kayo yung mag-liquidate sa milk, no? So yung PCC na ang mag-submit ng liquidation reports such as the delivery receipts, certificate of inspection and acceptance, and billing statement. Hello? Merong nagbibinta ng fresh milk dito. Masarap ang fresh milk. Okay. So, sa certificate of inspection and acceptance, we were agreed in the first batch that the PCC will provide the form. So, kasi alam naman nila kung ilan yung i-deliver nila. So, parang ilagay na nila doon para yung inspectorate team na-assign to that drop-off point will sign na lang sila. So, hindi na sila gagawa doon sa drop-off point ng IER, Inspection and Acceptance. So, yung PCC na ang gumawa. Pero hindi naman mag-sign yung inspectorate kung pag nakita niya na may mga problema doon sa mga milk na dinideliver. And then, SDO accounting section shall submit a monthly status of fund utilization of the SBFB milk feeding program to the central office. So this portion, a negative sub-arrow may be issued by the central office if there will be a request of withdrawal of allotment from the SDO submitted to the Secretary for Finance. So it is stated in the DepEd order That's one, because we have some agam-agam na baka hindi siya ma-implement, no? Kasi late na yung guidelines, and then meron pang problema sa as of the supplier. Like sa atin, kasi lahat ng buong Pilipinas ay merong milk feeding, so baka magka-problema. So in any case, hindi talaga natin ma-implement, so magsulat tayo doon sa central office for the withdrawal of the allotment. But fortunately, we were able to implement the program since we are here already this afternoon for the orientation. So tuloy-tuloy na to, nakasay na ng MOA. So talagang walang mangyayaring negative sub-arrow, no? Next, please. A portion of milk feeding funds may be used by the SDOs to cover cost of meals, venue, supplies, and materials during the conduct of orientation of milk feeding programs. So the cost for this orientation is also shouldered by the milk feeding program fund. Distribution costs from the drop-off point to each school may charge it against the milk feeding funds in the SDO or SBFP excess fund if there is any, or school MOA funds. So if the downloaded funds for the distribution cost hindi siya enough, so you can charge it to your MOA funds.
No more MOA. All the children.
So this, the things that I've discussed to you is taken from Deputy Order number 36 series 2019. Next please. So this is the costing of our milk feeding program for the fresh milk. So it is 18 pesos per beneficiaries. The transportation cost is 2 pesos per beneficiaries. Service fee of 2% of the fresh milk cost. Refrigerator is 15,000. At 110 schools, remember it's only the schools were given, 110 schools were given refrigerator. So not all schools, no? Kaya limited yung funds. So selected na ang bibigyan ng refrigerators. Katong yung maraming mga enrollment, no, na hindi enrollment, yung maraming mga undernourished beneficiaries. And the schools are also given coolers, no? So 276 schools. So 276 schools will be given coolers. Schools also will be given disposable head cover, and then surgical mask and face shield, disposable plastic gloves, alcohol, and multivitamins.
Wow.
Itong mga to is, yung magagamit is yung mga food handler, no? Ano yung mga health and nutrition. Okay, next please. And then there are also funds that will be downloaded to the schools. The transportation cost, which is 5 peso per beneficiaries, and the cost of ice, which is 300 pesos per school. So, provided kayo, merong funds. And then for the refrigerator, coolers, ano pa yung iba doon na sinasabi ko, mga face shields, alcohol, mga disposable plastic gloves, surgical mask, division office will handle the procurement. So it's not the school. No, so ang ano lang sa school is the transportation cost and the ice cost. Na kayo yung mag-manage ng funds. Okay? Thank you.
Sir, good. Thank you so much, Ma'am Inday. For some additional guidelines of the SBFP fund management, let's now hear our accountant 3, Sir Tor Aurelio M. Ardon. Sir Tor, pakpak ko doon. Bago pa biya tayo kainom mo gatas, ha?
Good afternoon to all of you now. So this afternoon I will be discussing the special provisions na sa implementing guidelines. That is the Fed Order number 22 series of 2020. Actually, ang i-discuss ni Ma'am Inday, mo ito ang kuan kanang implementing guidelines sa 2019. But wala siya na-implement sa 2019 because of absence of dugay na release ang implementing guidelines. So motong once nga wala tay legal basis no as to the implementation, dili gyud siya ma-implement. So and then wala ko'y supplier sa una. Munang kuanta nag-engage sa memorandum of agreement no sa NDA, sa National Dairy Authority, and also the PCC, the Philippine Carabao Center. So motong ang ato ang na kuan nga supplier ang PCC kay mamay dol which is region 9 to sila nga PCC. Kay dili na daw ta makater sa region 10. So this afternoon no, I will tackle na lang specifically sa kanang duha ka paragraph under sa Defeat Order number 22 under sa Fund Availment and Management, which is mo ni ang ako lang i-highlight. First, the school division office shall prioritize the transfer of funds to NDA and or PCC to cover the supply and delivery as well as the services and assistance related to the production, processing, packaging, delivery, and storage of fresh milk and sterilized milk sourced from local dairy farmers or cooperatives for the implementation of milk feeding with a period not more than 20 days. The transfer shall be in accordance with the operating MOA. Actually, ganina pa man na sign na ng atong operating MOA. Pero ang kuan lang yun na, in simple, kanang words lang yun na under ng paragraph 1, wala na may problema sa cost sa kuan, cost sa katong milk kay na naman tayo agency to agency o nakakontract naman siya sa PCC. So all you have to do no sa schools katong sa drop-off points, ang inyo lang yung trabaho, inyo lang yung i-inspect kung unsay gi-deliver sa inyo ang nga mga milk. And also sa kanang sa paragraph 2 no, the schools division office downloaded milk funds for 2019 is good for 30 feeding days, which is ang ato ang i-implement karon 20 lang siya. So natay remaining allocation no, which shall be treated as excess funds including the balance from school-based feeding programs, hot meals, fiscal year 2019 to cover the operating expenses such as distribution costs, transportation expenses, conduct of orientation, coordination meetings and monitoring activities, and procurement of ice, coolers, freezers, refrigerators for the schools or designated drop-off points. So mo nang natay exist nga allocation which later part no among i-download sa inyo to cover the expenses of the transportation from the drop-off point to the schools, and also for the distribution cost from school to the households of the recipients. So, wala ko answer. Next slide. So, nagya mo may i-download sa inyo through cash advance. So, these are the attributable expenses no nga mo i-download: transportation cost, distribution cost, procurement of ice. So, gi-budget no, gi-base lang na ko ni sa katong gihatag ni Sir Amante per beneficiaries. Ang transportation cost kay 5 pesos no per beneficiary, distribution cost 4 pesos per beneficiary, and procurement of ice, 100 pesos per school. So, inyo lang nang i-multiply, no? Number of beneficiary times the feeding duration, no? 20 days. So, mo na amo ang i-download sa inyo, Next slide, please. And then, ang atong transaction man, no, is through cash advance. So, once na-implement na siya, nagay, sunod nga liquidation. 2, para na mo relief of accountability afterwards. So, these are the documentary requirements, no, required to support your liquidation. First kay, purchase request. Dapat naagi na siya kay sa procurement manggid na. And then, approved contract. Kabalo na mo ana, di ba? Kasagaran yung ginahimo kay contract of service man siya. So dapat na siya no approved contract for the transportation cost, inspection and acceptance, and also the delivery receipt. Para na atay basis unsa na ang ipang deliver ana nga mga milk, no? Actually, ang transportation and distribution cost pareha ra na sila of documentary requirements. But later part, no, ako lang ikuan sa inyo ang senior bookkeepers na ako'y additional ibutang nga na. But basically, these are the documentary requirements, no, as provided by COA Circular Number 2012-01. So may siya, no, for the distribution cost, purchase request, approved contract, inspection and acceptance, and delivery receipt. Next. Lastly, the procurement of ice. Diba, as discussed, no, sa katong representative from the PCC, diba, kung once nga, medyo malanay na tong gatas, dapat naagid siya i-support ninyo nga, butangan ninyo ice para dili madaot ang milk. So, money siya, gitagaan mo og funding for the procurement of ice. So, these are the documentary requirements, no? First, kay invoices, receipts evidencing the disbursement, inspection report, and purchase request. So that ends my presentation. Thank you. Basic, magyun ang requirements ng PhilJeps. Dapat diba, sa general rule, no, all the government transaction na, yun na siya, PhilJeps ang inyo. Diba, sa procurement, dapat, mukuhan mo, no, katong legally, diba, legally, financially, capable na mga establishment. So, as part sa legally siguro nga requirements, it is required under the law nga dapat PhilJeps registered, but dili siya required nga, dili siguro siya required nga i-post pa niya sa PhilJeps nga website, kay dili man gyud siya moabot og 50,000. Kung ang inyong EBC, kung moabot siya, mula pa siya 50,000, that's the time nga required siya nga i-post. Pero, doesn't mean nga wala siya naabot og 50,000, dili na kinahanglan PhilJeps, kinahanglan gyud siya. Pangayuan ninyo og katong PhilJeps registration number. Ano, business permit. Part na sa inyong procurement man, inyong tanawan. Dili, maglisa kung kamuro mag-imo.
Okay, so reserve your questions for our open forum later. Thank you, Sir Tor. And we have one more clarification. Ang nana i-clarify gamay si Ma'am Emily Padayhag.
So, once again, good afternoon. I would like to correct ang budget for the ICE is 100 pesos per day. Per day.
Per school, per
Per school per day. 20 feeding days.
Wow! Maligit pa tayo.
100 pesos is, kanina, 300 yung na ano ko. 100 pesos.
Per school.
Okay, so 100 times 20, you have 2,000 per school for ICE for 20 days. O, diba? So, klaro na.
Asa lang kita nag-resibo.
Mauna. Okay, so let's proceed now to the next topic, and that will be the food safety and health protocols. This will be presented by our nurse 2 from the school health section, Sir Dryden Clee A. Samaniego. Grabing suporta ba? Nakainom ang hugatas. Energy, energy. Walang energy gap.
Hello, good afternoon. So I'll be discussing food safety standard. No? So nutrition is very important. That's why we have this kind of program para sa itong mga bata to provide good nutrition. However, kung ang food na ito ang i-serve sa ila is improperly prepared or mishandled, so mo result yung mga problema like illnesses. Every year, before mag-start ang implementation sa atong program, we always include food safety standard no para ma-remind ang atong mga food handlers, atong schools to comply with the safety practice sa food handling no para maiwasan nato mga issue, mga problema during sa pag-implement sa ato ang program. Even karon nga naata sa time sa pandemic no sa COVID-19, ang minimum health standard wala gyapon siya nautro. Nalay mga additional measures nga gi-place para maprotektahan po ang mga server o ang mga food handlers. So we'll start with the minimum health standard no, to reduce contact. First, physical distancing of 1 meter apart at all times, front, back, and side. Then no touching of eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid touching surfaces frequently touched by others. Reduce movement within rooms and across all areas inside the classroom. Restrict mass gathering like flag ceremony and other congregation beyond 20 in number. So, sa actual dito sa inyong delivery, no? So, naitay siguro na mo identify mo mga drop-off points by purok kay lagyo ang ubang balay. So, i-limit lang yun nato ang number sa mga parents, no? Hindi lang nato pa ano para dito mo draw of crowd, para dili ta mo violate sa ato ang minimum health standard. So kulang pa ni siya wearing of face mask guys. So kinahanglan gyud apil na siya sa ato ang minimum health standard. Next slide. According to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, there are no reports and records of COVID-19 can be transmitted through food, surface, and food packaging. So maayo na siya nga balita. However, this doesn't mean we do not need to highlight the usual food safety and hygiene practices, especially during food delivery. That's according to Glenn Heidi de la Cruz, Vice President of Program Development and Food Inspection Services of the Food Safety and Hygiene Academy of the Philippines. So ang initial question mo ni kasagara pangutana no. So kabalo naman ko kabalo mo ani pero ato lang i-review no. What is foodborne illnesses? Pero before ang question nganong nga may kana food safety standard. Unsa may purpose ani niya? Kani siya establish ni siya to ensure nga ang food nga atong i-serve safe para consumption and to protect human from foodborne illnesses. So kaning foodborne illnesses mao ni siya ang gitawag natong food poisoning. No, every year madungog nato sa news na mga tawo no nga na-admit due to food poisoning. It is caused by eating food that is contaminated by bacteria or harmful substance. Food become hazardous by contamination, no? So initially ang pagkaon kung agi siya o kanang heating process or cooking, wala gina siya microorganisms. Pero makontaminated siya, pwede na siya mag-lead into food poisoning. Contamination is the intended presence of harmful substance or microorganism in food. Food can become contaminated from these three kinds of hazard. First is chemical hazard. So unsa man siyang chemical hazard? Chemical hazard caused by spillage or unintentional nga accidentally masagol ang mga chemical like bleach, no? Or kanang mga pesticides sa pagkaon. So mao na siya gitawag og chemical hazards. Then physical hazards. Physical hazards, these are hard object, no? Nga pwede maka-cause of injury kung masagol sa pagkaon. Example ani niya, no, mga broken glasses, mga stone, mga debris nga pwede masagol sa pagkaon. Ang usually nahitabuan ni kung kabantay mo kana sa bugas, no? Kung sa'yo pag dili malimpyo na ay masagol nga bato, so pwede siya maka-cause of injury pag makaon sa tao. Biological hazard, kani siya, mao ni siya ang growth of bacteria sa pagkaon. Kung mapasagda ng pagkaon, na ay bacterial growth. So mao na ang three kind of hazards, no? Okay, so what is cross-contamination? Cross-contamination is the transportation of harmful substance to food. It might be food to food, or equipment to food, or people to food. So kani siya food to food, occur siya o usually kana mag-prepare tag pagkaon bitaw nga dili nato i-segregate, dili ta careful sa mga raw ingredients o kaning ready to eat na nga pagkaon. So pwede makontaminate sa raw ingredient ang katong pagkaon na ready to eat na or luto na. Equipment to food, kani siya pag dili kay ta particular sa cleanliness sa atong mga utensils, no? Like atong mga chopping board, atong mga knives nga gamiton, or ang kanang mga containers nga sudlan sa atong pagkaon. People to food, may tabo ni siya ang contamination from people to food kung ang ga-prepare sa pagkaon dili siya particular sa hygiene, no? Dili siya tighugas og kamot or na siya mga unhygienic actions, no? Like kanang magsigig gunit-gunit sa body parts while ga-prepare sa pagkaon. So these are the factors, no, that encourage for foodborne pathogens or growth of bacteria. So food, so kinahanglan ang bacteria og food. Kinahanglan siya og nutrients in order to grow, no, or multiply. Then acidity. Kinahanglan po ang iyang environment medyo alkalinic, meaning mas taas-taas ang pH beyond 7.4 pataas, no? Kaysa acidic environment. Kung acidic ang environment, hinay ang growth sa bacteria. Time, no? So, kung madugay, syempre, like madugay ang pagkaon, enough time para sa bacteria to multiply o mudagkan. Temperature, factor po ni siya, no? Especially kung ang temperature, mga na-around sa 40 degrees Celsius, so conducive kay siya for bacterial growth. Also, oxygen, kailangan ng bacteria o oxygen para mabuhi. And water, kung moist ang environment, favorable kay sa bacteria, kaya naginanglan ko sila water para sa ilaang multiplication o pagpanaghan. How can I handle food safely? Bacteria like Staphylococci are found on hair, skin, mouth, nose, and in the throat of healthy people. Accordingly, nearly 50% of healthy food handlers carry disease agents that can be transmitted to food. The most important tool to prevent foodborne illnesses is good personal hygiene. Good personal hygiene includes proper bathing, no? So, syempre ato kung piliin natong mga food handlers, no? Kay dili po tapatapag pili anang mga server nato or food handlers, kinahanglan hygienic po sila, no? Kinahanglan na proper bathing, clean hat or hair strength, clean clothes, the wear of limpyong sanina, permi, remove jewelries, so wala gi jewelries while nag-prepare sa pagkaon, avoid unsanitary habits or actions, hand washing, kani frequent gini siya, dili lang kas-a, so dapat ang atong food handlers, usos gid siya permission na hugas sa iyang kamot, trim nails and avoid nail polish, proper glove use, maintain good health, report wounds and illnesses. Always wash hands. Okay? So, kinahanglan atong food handlers, ma-train gid siya or ma-train siya, kinahanglan manghugas siya terno kamot upon or after using the bathroom, after coughing, sneezing, smoking, eating, or drinking. After brushing the table, no? Kung after manglimpyo sa lamisa, manghipos, manghugas sa kamot, before putting on gloves, after handling animals, when switching between raw and ready-to-eat food, after handling garbage or trash, after handling dirty equipments or utensils, and during food preparation. Proper hand washing kani expert naman kay tani no kay especially karon sa ato ang pangitabo nga naata sa COVID-19 pandemic, mao gini siyang gi-promote sa ato ang DOH and proper hand washing. So ang atong ikuha ng procedure no, wet your hands with running water. So running water gyud dili tubig nga naa sa container, running water. Okay? Apply soap. Vigorously scrub hands and arms for 10 to 15 seconds. Rinse thoroughly under running water. Dry hands and arms with single-use paper towel or warm air hand dryer. So running water yun ang required kung manghugas o kamot. Mao gyud na siya proper, no? And mao na nga gi-discourage na namo sa mga schools ang paggamit og kanang towel sa inyong laboratory kay dili na pwede ron ang towel, single use na lang siya. Kung walay towel, so i-air dry na lang nato, no? Atong pasagdan, i-shake nato atong kamot gently para matangtang ang tubig dayon liquid dry sa hangin. Cover cut wounds and sores, no? Kung makita nato ang atong food handlers na isamad or na sores kanang nukaba sa kamot, so dili nato sila pwede ipa-participate sa pag-handle sa pagkaon. Kung accidentally nasamad siya, cover affected area with bandage, then i-advise nato siya nga magamit og gloves. When to exclude the food handlers. Okay? Okay, so workers serving in general population have one or more of the following symptoms. So kung ang atong food server or atong food handlers, ma-observe nato nga naa siya ani siya nga mga sintomas like vomiting or pagsuka, diarrhea, pabalik-balik sa CR, or jaundice, kanang yellowish nga appearance. So, dili nato na siya pwede ipa-participate sa pag-handle sa pagkaon. Or has been diagnosed with Salmonella typhi, Shigella, Shiga toxin producing E. coli, hepatitis A virus, or norovirus. Worker serving highly susceptible population have a sore throat or fever, especially kaning nasa symptoms sa sore throat or fever kay mao po ni siya sintomas sa COVID, no? Or flu-like symptoms. So, dili ginato siya pwede ipa-participate sa pag-serve sa ato ang commodity. Other policies, no? So, ang atong food server should never smoke, chew gum, or eat food, no? Di siya pwede magkaon while the-serve sa pagkaon. Essential equipment for delivery personnel. So, mao ni atong gikuan ng mga additional measures na gi-add, gidungag to protect also the food handlers and the food servers, no? Like personal protective equipment. No, na-mention naman ni ganina no nga naay mga PPEs nga ihatag para sa mga mag-deliver sa pagkaon sa school. Like kaning sanitary mask, disposable head cover, face shields, food gloves, and 70% alcohol for disinfection and multivitamins para ma-boost na ang immune system. Okay? Napoy i-provide nga mga container, no, sudlanan para sa ato ang food commodities nga gatas, no. So naay mga para ma-ensure nga ang temperature makontrol nato para dili madaot ang ato ang gatas. So i-provide po na sa inyo. Disinfect sanitizer that is safe to use for cleaning isolated thermal box. So ang ato ang mga container ato nang regularly ginalimpyuhan, no? Dili kay basig hugaw na po kay siya sige ra nato gamiton. Dayon ato pong i-advise ato ang mga kanang tig-deliver sa or mag-serve sa pagkaon na pag-abot nila dito sa area or dito sa mga residents, dili nila ibutang ang box sa yuta. Kung pwede i-supply din nila, no? Kay pwede ang ilalong na hugaw ayo niya dalon niya balik dito sa storage area. Okay? There are also extra safety measures that can be applied specifically during this time, including maintaining at least a meter apart from each other. So, mo to no, physical distancing yun permi. train delivery personnel on cleanliness and sanitation procedure and hygienic practice, as well as provided with proper delivery and safety equipment. So kung kinahanglan mo og ipatrain ninyo ang mga deliverer or inyong food server, so pwede man mumutap sa inyong mga nurses, no? Pwede ninyo sila ipa-orient ninyo sa kanang food safety standard ang inyong mga food server o inyong mga food deliverers. Ideally, mauni siya ang flow, no, sa food. So mag-start sa purchasing, storing, preparing, cooking, holding, and serving. Pero diri sa purchasing, since diri na ni siya sa division level, ang inyong responsibility na diri sa storing, preparing, cooking, wala na kay ang ato ang food commodity ron kay nakapack naman siya daan, no? So diri na mo sa serving or delivery. Delivery and inspection. So na-mention naman po to sa PCC ganina, no? Ang uban ani, pero ato lang yatong i-reiterate kay na sa inyong araw siya nga responsibility. Okay? The mode, schedule, and other specification of delivery shall be determined by the division office and the supplier in consideration of the local conditions to be specified by the PO. SDOs and local dairy suppliers shall agree on a 1-2 draft-off point per school district for the deliveries. So identified naman daan, no, ang atong mga drop-off points, mga school nga atong bagsakan sa atong gatas. Delivery of milk shall be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at least twice a week at a designated drop-off point. No delivery shall be made during holidays and weekend. First, kaning sterilized milk, dili man ta nga gamit sterilized kay fresh milk man ato, no? Next pala, sir. Okay, gani. Upon delivery, the inspection team, no, so ang school mag-designate siya o kanang school inspection team, no? Or SDO, ang SDO, ang mga nurses nila, sila mo ay kanang apeli sila sa monitoring. Depending on the draft of point, shall inspect the goods and ensure that they are in good quality. At least 2 members of the school inspection team shall sign the inspection and acceptance report, IAR, as proof that they have received the specific quantity and quality of milk, while the authorized consignee shall sign the acceptance portion of the IAR. The school inspection team shall do random inspection of the milk pack every delivery. So every delivery, gina-check yun ninyo, no? As to the quantity and quality of milk, kung 200 ml ba yun siya, no? Or ang iyang quality sa gatas. All milk pack to be delivered must be clean, without leaks, and not spoiled. Some signs of spoiled are as follows: bulging packs, yellowish in color, carded with lumps, thick texture, slimy, or with chunks. So, sa atong experience, no, sa una nga natay kanang milk feeding, no, ang pinakauna gid nga ma-observe nato kung spoiled na ang gatas kay nabuburot gid ang iyaang sudlanan, no. Dayon kani siya sense kay transparent man to yang kuan. So kinahanglan ang white gid siya ang color, dili siya yellowish kay kung yellowish na siya, meaning nag-start na o ka-spoiled ang gatas. I-explain naman po ni ganina sa PCC. Okay? The school inspection team shall reject milk pack that are unclean, with leaks and spoiled, subject to replacement by the supplier. So kung naay ka ng spoiled or bisag duda mo, so pwede ninyo siya i-reject, no? Dahil pailisa na to sa supplier. Local daily supplier shall inform the school drop-off point of the delivery schedule. So taybaon mo nila sa schedule sa delivery. Local daily suppliers shall observe the minimum health standard to prevent the spread and mitigate COVID-19. Pati sila, kinahanglan mo, comply with sa minimum health standard. Ang supplier. School division office may arrange the delivery of milk from drop-off point to schools. Or the recipient school may pick up their milk supply from drop-off point. It is the responsibility of the recipient school to ensure that their milk supply is picked up during the exact time of delivery, or within an hour at most, to preserve the quality and freshness of milk. So dili na to pahulat-hulaton pud ang ato ang supplier kay dagan-dagan ba pud sila og kanang supplyan, no? Okay, so sa storing, kay diri naman na-stored ang gatas sa inyo ang mga schools, no? So dapat i-check yun nato ang label sa pagkaon. So kani siya milk. So naman siya label nga gatas. No, then observe nato ang principle sa FIFO. So unsa man siya ang FIFO? So yes ma'am, first in, first out, no? So kung unsa to yung una nga stocks nga ning abot, mao po to siya una natong i-release for delivery. No, para ma-ensure nato nga kanang dili ta maabtan basig kanang ma-spoil na ang gatas. Check expiration dates, no? Tanawon po nato expiration dates. Store food in designated storage areas. Keep all storage areas clean and dry. So, may i-provide nga mga refrigerator sa inyo no? Dapat, ang sulod sa atong refrigerator, gatas, ragyod. Walay mga leftovers nga pagkaon, kay pwede na makontaminate niya ang atong gatas. Okay? According to studies, no? If an open container, ang gatas, no? According to studies, if an open container is refrigerated, no? It should be good for 7 to 10 days past the printed date. So, kung dili lang po naka-refrigerate lang siya. The best place to store milk is on the top or middle shelf of the fridge, not in the door. When opened, all kind of milk should be kept in fridge in 40 degrees or 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. So mao ni siya ang temperature dapat na i-maintain nato, no? So between 0 to 4 degrees para ma-ensure nato nga safe ang ato ang gatas. So kung more than 4 degrees ang temperature sa refrigerator, medyo dili na kanya siya bugnaw, so dali ma-spoil ang gatas. How long you can keep dairy products out from the fridge? So you can keep the milk out of the fridge for at least 2 hours, no? In general, perishable food like milk should not sit out of the refrigerator or cooler for longer than 2 hours. So kung gigawas nato ang gatas, dili na siya pwede nato mabalik if more than 2 hours na. No, kay possible nag-start na ang build up sa bacteria nila or mga pathogen. Cut that time down to 1 hour in summer if the temperature reaches 90 degrees. Samot na kung medyo init ang panahon. Di na nato siya pwede palapason ng 2 hours. So gitawag nga 4 hours, 2 hours rule, no? Study shows that food can be safely held out of temperature control for a short period of time without significantly increasing the risk of food poisoning. However, the total time and temperature danger zone must not be longer than 4 hours. Pero sa milk, 2 hours rin ang di-allow niya nga. Pwede nato siya igawa sa refrigerator, no? So dapat within 2 hours, kung dili nato siya ma-deliver, maibalik din nato siya sa ato ang refrigerator. Distribution. Without physical classes, schools shall strategize schemes to deliver the milk packs to the beneficiaries in their homes. Parents can pick up the milk on designated days and time. School personnel may opt to distribute the milk from school to the homes of the beneficiary by contracting local utility vehicles in the community within reasonable cost. So, na-explain naman nila no, na-allocate nga para sa transport. School personnel may coordinate with partners such as barangay or non-government organization to distribute the milk pack from the school to the homes of the beneficiaries. Especially kung lagyo kaayo, pwede ta muling sa ato ang mga partners sa ato ang community. So, unsa may mga sinyalis no nga madaot na ang gatas, no? So, when milk began to spoil, it develops unpleasant rancid odor. The scent is hard to miss and gets stronger with time. The taste also began to change as the natural sweetness of fresh milk is quickly replaced by somewhat acidic or sour flavor. Pag medyo maslo na siya, meaning nagsugod na siya o ka-daot. What happened we consume spoiled milk? So, may tabo kung ato mga learners maka-consume sila og daot or panos nga gatas, no? Kung gamay ra, no, in a small sip of spoiled milk, it is unlikely to cause symptoms. So, maybe wala sila bation kung gamay ra jud kaayo. Ang ilarang mabati kay medyo sa ila mabatian na nila ang laing gamit sa gatas. Pero drinking in larger amount of spoiled milk can cause stomach distress, resulting in abdominal cramping, vomiting, and diarrhea, or foodborne like illness. No, in most cases, symptoms caused by drinking spoiled milk resolve within 12 to 24 hours. So, mawala ra day gyapon siya kana kung walay komplikasyon. Pero dili na nato paaboton nga may ngunana nga naay rason ang community para ikapasangil nila sa atoa, no? Para madaot ang atoang programa. Adverse effect of milk to some beneficiaries may experience, such as signs and symptoms of gastroenteritis, stomach discomfort, and lactose intolerance, katong gi-discuss ganina sa taga-PCC. In such cases, it is advised that drinking of milk be stopped, no? Kung maka-experience ang bata o lactose intolerance, so i-advise na to ang bata na stop sa pag-inom sa gatas. And that the beneficiary be referred by the parents or guardians to the local health unit or center for proper evaluation and management. The beneficiary may stop drinking the milk until such time it is recommended by the health personnel to drink small amount or quantity. Close coordination with the health personnel is necessary during the conduct of milk feeding. So, kinahanglan mo coordinate gyud mo sa ato ang mga health personnel. Naaman po tayong mga nurses, kung naay mga incidents, no, naay mga report ng parents na ilang anak nagkalibanga tungod sa gatas. So, pwede niyo kontakon ninyo mga nurses para sila po mag-conduct sila og assessment, no? Then, pwede nila ma-refer dito sa ato ang mga health centers, no? Lactose intolerance. So, it is the inability to break down a type of natural sugar called lactose na present siya sa or component siya sa gatas. Okay? So, you become lactose intolerant when your small intestine stops making enough of the enzymes lactase to digest and break down lactose. So, naay mga instances nga sa una, okay raman ka mo inom og gatas, pero sa karon kanang maka-experience na ka og lactose intolerance, magdepende man gud na siya sa imong lawas, no? There are times, basi karon, imong lawas di na niya kaya nga mo breakdown sa lactose. Lactose intolerance can start suddenly, even if you never had trouble with dairy products before. Symptoms usually start half an hour to 2 hours after eating or drinking something with lactose. Okay? So immediately, mabati nimo an hour after kung lactose intolerance ka, so mabati na kaani nga mga sintomas. Sama na nga mga sintomas, no? Sama sa diarrhea, no? Nausea, sometimes vomiting or pagsuka, stomach cramps, bloating. Kaning bloating, mura ka buturan sa tiyan. Okay, before ma end ato ang food safety na topic, no, na share sa inyo nga simple experiment. Okay? Kani siya, it was conducted by a science teacher. Kung makita ninyo na ay lima ka klase nga sliced bread. Ang first nga sliced bread, iyang itrapo sa kanang keyboard sa laptop, no? Then iyang gitaguan. The next one, fresh and untouched nga kanang nga slice of bread. Then ang ikatulo, slice of bread nga iyang gigunitan nga hugaw ang iyaang kamot, wala siya ng hugas. Ang ikaupat, ang slice nga bread nang hugas siya sa kamot before niya gigunitan. O ang ikalima, iyang gigunitan pero bago siya naggunit, nag-apply sa siya og sanitizer. Then a few days later, mao ni siya yung resulta. Ang katong bread nga gitrapo sa keyboard, so purting daghanang molds formation, no? So daghan kayong bacterial growth. While katong bread nga fresh o wala untouched, So wala kay makita nga molds. Then ang katong bread nga iyang gigunitan nga wala siya nangugas ang kamot, same na ay kanang molds formation. Then ang ikaupat nga bread nga iyang gigunitan but nangugas sa kamot before niya gigunitan, pareha atong untouched bread walay molds formation. Okay, ang ikalima, maski gagamit siya sanitizer before siya gunit sa bread, nagya po yung molds formation. So unsa may lesson ani niya? So importante gyud ang pagpanghunaw, no? Kay kung manghunaw ta, so wala gyud bacteria or di gyud makontaminate nato ang pagkaon. So daghang kayong salamat o maayong hapon.
Thank you so much, Sir Garden, for thoroughly discussing to us the safe handling practices and some health standards so that we can minimize the risk of contamination with our milk and other products. Okay, quick recap lang. How many hours can we keep the milk if it's taken out from the fridge? Very good. Naminaw gid ato ang mga school administrator. So, it should not be left out in room temperature longer than 2 hours kay madaot na gid siya. So si Manong nga nagkuha og gatas gikan sa atua, ayaw na pahapita pabakwit daw sana kanang pabakero o baka dayon basig tagayan pa siya mga amigo hantod na dugay kaay sa tanan ning painom iyang anak. So proper orientation lang sa ato ang mga parents. Okay, so we are now up for our open forum. Any question, clarification from the group? You can now fire your questions. Wala tayong mga pangutana? Klaro ba kaayo? So silence means yes, na understand na gyud sa tanan. Okay, ang tanan guidelines. So it's all the guidelines and processes are understood.
When will our feeding start?
Okay, when will the milk feeding start?
Effective June 1?
Hello, good afternoon. I just would like to kanang reinforce kapag ikaw ang ipanghatag sa inyo ha. Kahit di-allocate ba para ani. For milk, na-discuss ni Sir Thor, pero ako lang i-reinforce. Milk transportation cost for 2019 ni ha, kaya nakalabay following na 2020. So don't be confused, ini siya sa 2019. So milk transportation cost, 5 pesos per beneficiary for 20 feeding days. Nabutang ini Sir Thor ganina, 5 pesos per beneficiary, 20 days man ta. Oo. And then, napod mo'y distribution cost, which is 4 pesos per beneficiary times 20 days. And then you will also have kanang ICE na amount allocation, 100 pesos per school for 20 days, so times 20. And then you will also be given refrigerator seat. Chief Ablin lang ang kanang mo detalyan na kay puhon after this, there will be a meeting, a coordination meeting as well, apart from this orientation. Sa list of schools nga maalokitan, there will be 110 units out of kanang 276. Dili lang nato maapod kay ang ato pong budget, limited po siya. And then, coolers. Maapod tanan school sa coolers. And then, disposable head or hair cover, face mask. Face mask para sa, naman mo'y duha ka distributor per school. Duha ka, di ba, sa una naman tayo mga schools nag-hire o kanabitaw magluto, katubitang sa hot meals. Yeah. So this time, you will be allowed to kanang allocation para sa distribution cost. Kaya di apod lalim nga mag-distribute dito. And then, napod may alcohol, napoy multivitamins para sa distributors. Okay, they should be healthy all throughout. Kay, ang saan na lang po, kay maghatag na ba taong kaning milk para sa kaning mga learners. So, sige, open for questions. Okay. Tentatively, third week of November, ang tentative na siya. But of course, kana magdepende na siya kay napamantay process for the fund transfer. Karon pa man nga day ang MOA signing, i-process na dayon to namo for fund transfer para pa-final, rest assured kung ma-final na ang date atong i-communicate kay part na siya sa tong coordination nga activities ko mo course through lang mi sa inyong respective nga district nurses. And then I'm not so sure if your district nurses already kanang communicated with you. Katubitang beneficiaries, list of beneficiaries na paana, siguro dili tanan, pero bakit pwede na ko siya out of Sister JD. I have it in my kuan. Pwede na sa pwede na po, or pwede pag later, after. Pwede na po na ko ihatag sa inyong nurses.
Sa beneficiaries kay i-flash na lang siya. Anyway, hatag naman to sa mga district nurses and then ipakita na lang. Para ma-check nila. Hatag naman ang district nurses at to sa i-flash na lang.
Kanang also, pwede po di ay mo, as per sa Dated Order 22, aning milk, pwede po mo parents can pick up the milk on designated dates and time. So pwede po mo na ay drop off per purok or mas pila ka drop off point per purok para mas systematic siya. Provided na dili jud mag-crowding ang parents. Kana jud atong dapat mo ensure jud ta kay ang atoa dili house to house jud ta nga delivery, and also provided nga dili siya mo more than 2 hours. For example, ang inyong giset nga drop off point kay layo pa pud gyud ay kayo sa mga household, so that should also be a consideration.
Ang ma'am Inday ka?
Wala. I-flash lang siya.
Beneficiaries?
Kung figures, naka-Excel siya.
Excel? Wala man sa kuha, ma'am? Excel?
Sige.
Yes.
Ma'am Grace Deloria daw, ingon Sir Jong Jong. Na
Naka-Excel number of beneficiaries.
Wala magud sa, wala may gihatag sa kuha nga kuha, ma'am? Excel?
Okay, kindly flash the beneficiaries.
Messenger na ko. Messenger ko. Karon pa din. And
Ano i-show ni Sir JD sa ato projector?
And program implementation will start. Education must go on. In fact, this is the mantra of our Department of Education. And this is also the call of our Honorable Secretary, Leonor Magtulis Bruni. That's why, even if it's too late, we started the school year this October, but still, all of us really work. Now, I really appreciate all the school heads and teachers in the field who really did the Herculean task in implementing the education. And in fact, this school-based feeding program is one of the essential activities which can help us augment the learning of our learners. And we are very glad that our department spared some funds for this. In fact, late to implementation because this was the fund for 2019 and still there is 2020 coming. So in behalf of our Duty Chief, Dr. Maria Carmila P. Adlin, we would like to thank our visitors, the go ahead na, no, si Ma'am Fe, si Sir Cecilio Benes, and Ma'am Josephine Mildez for their availability to be with us today. Despite the condition that upon coming here, they really have undergo the hectic process in coming. So I wish also to express our gratitude to our schools division superintendent, Dr. Edelberto Oplinaria, our assistant schools division superintendent, Dr. Rosemary P. Masizar, the health and nutrition section led by Dr. Mildin Inerio,
to the SGOD, CID, and OSDS personnel, school heads in attendance, and to all of those who, in one way or another, help in the realization of this activity. Let me end this closing remarks. According to G.K. Rowling, we do not need magic to change the world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already. All we have to do is to have the power to do the better. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Arlene. And that concludes our orientation. Have a good day. And you can have your certificate of appearance from our nurses.